Một dòng xanh xanh, một dòng chăn mong manh, một dòng nồng ý biết, một dòng sông mây kia, một dòng trời sao xuyên, một dòng tình thương mến, một dòng con quyến luyến, một dòng nhớ quay về miền đời lúc vui
Hi everyone, xin chào các bạn. Today I have a very special guest with me. You may recognize her from her performances with Asia Entertainment and SBTN. She is a singer from Boston, Massachusetts, with the voice of a songbird, and she is also a very good friend of mine. Please welcome ca sĩ Hoàng Kim. Hi.
Hi, James. Hi,
How are
Em. How are
you?
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well.
Okay, so for people who don't know, you were actually in a singing competition for Asia Entertainment was it 2015?
The final round was in 2015. The initial rounds were in 2014.
Okay. The competition was called The Dream Asia Voice, and you were actually the winner of the competition. Could you maybe tell us a little bit about your experience and what made you decide to audition in the first place?
In terms of auditioning, I actually was watching an Asian DVD with my mom and my uncle, and he told her that I should send in like a demo. I just graduated high school at the time, and I just wanted to get settled into college. I'm like, well, it's one last hurrah, like it wouldn't hurt. So I sent in like a couple photos and like a demo, and they called. And I was kind of scrambling at that point because my round was going to be in October. So I had to arrange everything with my professors in order to make it to that round. The song I ended up singing was Cuối Cùng. It was really difficult because there were two keys in that certain arrangement, and I was singing it in front of the original singer. So it was nerve-wracking to say the least for an 18-year-old. For that round in particular, I actually didn't even make the top 5 based on my scores. So I was like, oh, okay, this is fine. Like, if it ends here, it ends here. And then 3 days later, I get a call. I made the final round, and I was so excited. I'm like, wait, but how did this happen? So from each semifinal round, they had a top 5 for each, and they also decided to select 2 wild cards. So I ended up being a wild card pick. They told me to pick 2 songs again, and we narrowed it down to nhạc sĩ Trúc Hổ, Cơn Mưa Hạ, and nhạc sĩ Phạm Duy's Dòng Sông Xanh. At first, they picked a nhạc sĩ Trúc Hổ song, but going through the 2 songs and practicing them on my own, like, I think Dòng Sông Xanh would fit me more, just because it suits my voice type. Low-key intimidated by the song because I would be singing it in front of the songwriter too. So they switched my song. We did some run-throughs, and I got some really good tips from ca sĩ Yifu, because she sang the song on Asia too.
Right.
So
yes.
she gave me really good tips here and there before the big night. And big night came, ball of nerves. But, we did the best that we could with everything that we had, and it was an amazing night overall. I even got to meet a lot of the singers that I'm friends with now through the competition. Like ca sĩ Huỳnh Phi Tiễn is one of the people I'm very close with, and ca sĩ Ngọc Anh Vi. There were lots of comments that nhạc sĩ Trúc Hổ gave me after my performance as well. I can still remember one thing that he said was that basically my performance brought him back to his childhood and back into like a world of music that he used to be like wrapped up in his youth.
That's
Not
so
that
nice.
he isn't youthful now.
He's very young at heart.
He's one of the people I admire most in the business, just because he's so passionate about what he does. and he pushes me to be a better artist as well whenever I see him.
Hearing you talk about your experience just reminds me of when I auditioned for SBTN Voice, and you were actually the reason that I auditioned for SBTN Voice, and it ended up being such a great experience. You ended up meeting so many people and making a lot of different connections. A lot of people of our generation that are born outside of Vietnam and raised in North America, not a lot of us are as invested in Vietnamese music, especially older Vietnamese music, the way you are. Where did your love for Vietnamese music come from?
I think growing up, a lot of the influences are from your family. So my first exposure was my mom singing me to sleep every night as a kid. This is her telling me, but when I could remember, I did remember her singing Mẹ tôi for me to fall asleep. That's where the interest and the passion came from. And plus, you can't really escape watching Paris by Night and Asia DVDs growing up either.
Yeah.
Or they were actually video cassette tapes first. Then it transitioned over to DVDs.
I remember. Did you receive any vocal training growing up? Because when you sing, you can hear a lot of classical or even operatic influences in the way that you sing.
I did get formal training when I was about 11 or 12 years old. So we were going through puberty at that point. And my mom was really afraid that I would lose my voice because my voice started changing really rapidly. Like my voice got a little bit deeper. So it's like, what's going on with your voice? Like you're not hitting the notes like you used to. So in an effort to save my voice, they put me in singing lessons. I started with show tunes first, but then one of the teachers told me to try out classical music. I was really hesitant at first because I was like, oh, opera. I don't know. I don't know if I should be doing this or not because I wasn't really familiar with it. But then I was like, it might be a good idea just to try it out because it has a lot of technique. So it could help with any genre of music if you know how to use it right. I'm like, okay, I'll see how it goes. And I loved it. It made me take care of my voice even more, but also it builds up a lot of stamina and strength in my voice. So I'm really appreciative of the opportunity I did get to really train my voice with people.
Yeah, I feel like it really gave you the foundation to really, like, not just sing classical, but you're able to apply it across all different genres. So I think that's really cool. Okay, so let's talk about some of your performances with Asia. And you made your debut in Asia 77, where you sang Cho Em Quên Tuổi Ngọc, which is a classic song by Nhạc sĩ Lam Phương. What were your thoughts stepping on that stage for the first time and performing a very big song like that?
Nerve-wracking because it was my debut and I wasn't really sure how the audience was going to receive my performance. One of the big things about being like a Vietnamese American or a Vietnamese born outside of Vietnam, you have an accent that's attributed to how you speak the language. So that was one of the big challenges because as I was growing up, I didn't utilize Vietnamese as much because I was focused on school. So I had to relearn how to enunciate, pronounce phát âm cho nó rõ. So it was a challenge, but I think I've become relatively better over the years. In terms of that particular performance, I was actually quite proud at the end because I didn't expect people to receive it so well. Well, Nhạc sĩ Trúc Ho actually texted me and asked where I was, and he went to find me backstage after I finished. It was a very surefire sign that I did well that night. And I couldn't have been happier with my debut.
That's awesome.
Thêm cho đầy giấc mong chua cay. Có nhớ phút giây lầm lỡ uống cho thật say uống quên ngày mai thế gian đổi thay quanh ta có ai đời còn chi trong tay.
Are there any interesting behind the scenes stories that maybe you can share about that performance?
Oh, I have a lot of stories. And choosing costumes, it was one of the years where the singers chose their own costumes. And I wore an ao dai for that performance. But the two things attached at the side were not part of my ao dai. Ji Tifeng, she's the CEO of Asia. She actually told one of the designer / makeup people to have that addition to my ao dai. And I was thinking like, this is a very interesting like addition to my costume. But then when you look at it on video, I'm like, wow, it adds so much dimension and it makes it very la. She has a very, very great eye for this stuff. Kasi nga, she told me afterwards that after my rehearsal take, everyone in the makeup room went dead quiet. I was like, wait, really? Because I'm like, I didn't think people would pay attention. But it was a very humbling experience as well. These are people that I grew up watching and listening to, you know. Some singers like Kasi Ifu, Kasi Nguyen Kang. Those people are people that I listened to and I learned a lot from. And I still learn a lot from today.
For your first performance in an Asia video, I feel like it really made you stand out. I know that I definitely took notice. I was like, who is this girl with this like crazy voice? It's like, it was so good.